build a positive life. Choose who can participate. Oh, that's so funny. I love those disclaimers in the beginning. All right. Well, guess what? We got ourselves a big announcement. Um, I've been talking about it and been threatening to finally get the official stuff out. So anybody who wants to can go ahead and sign up for our on-site course that'll be taught by Jim Elizondo from Real Wealth Ranching. He teaches the Total Grazing Program. Okay. This is what we practice here. This is what we've been doing. And it has changed everything for us here on our ranch, our productivity, our, just overall total land performance is manyfold increased. So we don't have anybody on the live right yet, but I lied. We had somebody. They came and went fast. So we're going to take and have the school here on our ranch, Tick Creek Ranch here, Alton, Missouri, the 8th and 9th of November this year, 2024. Super pumped. Again, I'll say it again. I'll keep saying this. Jim Elizondo from Real Wealth Ranching is going to be here teaching the course, and we are going to have a great time. Everybody's going to take and get a chance to see with their own eyes what this program can do if implemented at least semi-properly. I'm going to say that because we're no pros at it, but we're getting better at it all the time, and see the transformation that's taking place on our land without the additions of chemical fertilizers. So, watching from Iowa, hey, thanks for joining. So, yeah, it's we're super excited. I'm really excited to have Jim here again. I've attended one of his on-site courses down in Tallahassee, Florida. It was a real eye-opening experience. We had prior to going to that class or school, we had been practicing, the best of our ability, the Total Grazing Program. Well, I didn't really know what I was doing. We were just stumbling through it. And we went to the course, went to the classes, learned a ton. It filled in a lot of the blanks. Then I've been taking also his online courses, his mastery training, all that stuff. You're going to learn about nutrition, animal performance. I mean, as a whole, you're going to learn about adaptive genetics, proper calving or optimal calving season, and then the Total Grazing Program and how you implement on your land. Now, what's so important about this for anybody out there who runs cattle or horses or sheep, is that you're going to be able to increase your stocking rate your very, very first year, which is incredible. And not by a little bit. You're going to be able to put more animals on your land like in a year, as soon as you start it, because of the methodology of how you graze your land. It just by a byproduct of doing that, you grow so much more grass that you're going to need more animals to maintain it. So I'm going to show you the girls here real quick. Some of them don't look worth a darn to me, but I'm just really picky and I like my cows, fatter. But we are here end of summer, and these are lactating cows. I just put them in this new break, so they're a little hungry. They're a little empty. Let's see here, 5'11". Well, I kind of cheat. If I'm showing you her, that's kind of cheating because she always looks good. She's just a little fatty. The calves are looking good. None of them look sucked in, anything like that. 970 down there, that little girl. She's a bit of a hard keeper. She gives a lot of milk to her calves, which is not necessarily a great thing. But they're looking pretty good. I'm pretty pleased. We are back to some season-long stockpile right now because we are allowing what we just grazed to recover. And we had, we had some pretty good drought here. Believe it or not, a lot of people were talking about how much rain we got this year, and we did. We had a fantastic July, but guess what? The faucet turned off, and we didn't have any rain for 6 weeks. Now, if you're from a desert, I can't even talk. If you're from a desert region, that doesn't sound like much. But when you're in, the Midwest, upper South, you're kind of used to getting some rain. Well, it was very dry, and a lot of people, are running out of grass, and they'll tell you, a lot of folks will tell you, if you graze the way that we graze, you're going to run out of grass if you run out of rain. Well, let me go show you something. Give me a second here. I want to show you this. This is kind of important. So, mind you, haven't had rain for we didn't have rain for almost 6 weeks, and we just here, over the last 3.5 days, got 4.5 inches. So, Very pleased, very blessed to have that. But I'm gonna flip this around here in a second. I wanna show you this grass that all the experts are gonna tell you you can't grow if you don't get rain. Well, I think you guys are probably highly intelligent and know that this grass didn't grow in the last 4 days since we got this rain. It actually revegetated without rain because it had really well recovered root system. The energy stores, those are my dogs. They're not very smart. It's me, dummies. Oh, they're not very bright. Okay, here we are. I'm gonna show you this. So we're growing this in a drought. This is what someone would consider a drought. Sorry about the sun flare. No, Bo, it's just me. Come on. I guess they're gonna come join live. We'll just have them come over here and they'll shut up. So this is proof right here, through management and management alone, what can be done, guys. You can grow absolute gobs and gobs of grass if you manage your grass right, if you allow it to fully recover. Oh, hey, they're here. Hey, come here. There they are. Say hi, everybody. There we go. We're in Poland. All right. Yeah, we got horses. Yeah, whoever has the cat emoji face, whatever, you're an idiot. Why don't you go away? Don't say stupid stuff. I mean, I know you're unintelligent. You should just leave and go find something else to do. So we got some sheep over here. But yeah, I just want to show you guys, what's possible with the proper land management. Again, remember, drought, 6 weeks of it. We didn't have any rain. Well, it was like 5.5 weeks, but let's round up. And we have a wonderful recovery. The sheep are doing excellent. They're very happy. They're putting on great body condition because we have highly palatable, high protein grass coming up right now. And, all the way down in this bottom field, same thing. It's all recovering. We actually grazed through that. It was a little bit overly mature. And what happens is in your droughts, right, it'll put your grasses in stress. And as soon as they stress, boom, they go to seed. As soon as they go to seed, they create their inflorescence and drop seed and go through that whole process. Well, as soon as they create that, they pretty much stop vegetating and don't grow anymore. So in this style of grazing, the whole idea is that you are trying to, if you're really good at managing your grass, you're going to graze it before that seed comes out of the boot. The boot is basically, here, I'm gonna show you right here. Here's a grass that's overly mature. Let's look at it. Okay, when I say overly mature, it has gone to seed. And what we're looking at here is the stem and the seed head, okay? So once these seeds start erupting from what's called the boot, it's like think of like a straw, right? And it climbs up inside the center of it. Before it erupts and comes out of that, they'll even call it flag stage. It'll be a little stem that comes up out of the grass, and then it has just one little leaf that sticks out off to the side, flag stage. So either two of those, that's a pretty good time that you're gonna wanna graze your grass. It's gonna be highly palatable, it's fully recovered, and most importantly, it's gonna have the right fiber to protein ratio. So you're not gonna be fighting ruminal issues in cattle especially. So yeah, let's look at this again. I just wanna show you guys so you can get a little bit better perspective. I'll put the camera down low. And this was grown in a drought. So, don't fall prey if you run cattle or horses, don't fall prey to the idea that you have to leave tons of litter and you have to trample all that food, all that forage for your animals down on the ground to feed your soil. Well, that's kind of not really how it works. It does feed some of the microbial life and insects and worms and stuff like that at the very surface. But if you want to grow long-lived organic carbon or basically humus, if you want to grow more levels of that, higher concentrations of it, you need to let your plants recover. They need to become very mature through a certain, now, not necessarily when you're grazing consistently over and over and over. So during the green seasons, you're going to keep your animals on the best grasses you have. That's the idea. Stockpile and just let half of your farm rest. And when that happens, that's the magic. That's the magic. Grows so much freaking grass. And the plants are so well recovered, they have so much energy in their roots, and the exudates that they put into the soil, that's how you build humus. So if you're constantly only grazing your grasses when they're at this stage, like here or just a little more mature, they're not getting that full energy reserve where then they're allowed or have the ability to metabolize and put liquid carbon, right, carbohydrates, into the soil. And without doing that, and then there's also another metabolic process that happens I don't quite understand, but it actually converts to a lipid. And that's what builds your soil fertility. So if you do that, you're going to grow a ton of grass and you don't have to put fertilizer on there. And it's not the normal regenerative agriculture way that is being taught. That stuff is totally different. They tell you to trample all, just take a little bit of the grass and trample and smash the rest of it down. Well, the biggest problem with that is that you don't get new seedling germination and your interplant spacing starts widening, right? So it means you have less plants per square foot. If you have less plants per square foot, you're gonna have less yield. So that's why this stuff works so well. Again, grazing school here in our ranch, November 8th and 9th here in Alton, Missouri. That's what we're talking about right now. And I don't know why these idiots are on here still talking about just stupid stuff. It makes no sense, but whatever. I guess that's what you get when you live. You get fools. So I'm going to show you this. Check this out. Look at that. That's all seedling germination. See that? Blades of grass. Well, if you take and trample all of your forage down and create a thick mat, you're not going to get that. So you're going to lose density. Hence, you're going to also lose productivity. So that's what you'll learn in the Total Grazing Program. If you take Jim's online courses or you attend this on-site course that we're going to be hosting here at our ranch. So Jim Elizondo, Real Wealth Ranching, it's his guidance that we've been following. He's been mentoring us through this process. It's been amazing, and we are growing unbelievable amounts of forage. Our cattle are doing great. We have, well, let's put it this way, last year and the year before, we ran out of grass, during some portion of the year. Into early winter, we ran out of grass and we started feeding hay like most people. Now, we did better than a lot. We started feeding hay a lot later than a lot of folks, but we still fed hay, right? Last year, we have a small herd. We fed 74 round bales of hay. This year, we're not going to feed a single bale of hay. Quite the contrary, this year, I should be buying. So we're just waiting for the market to soften. And then, we need more animals. I mean, I need probably twice as many animals now on our land as we have right now. I mean, it's crazy because of management, folks. It's literally about the knowledge and the management, how to manage your animals on your land, and you're going to grow copious amounts of grass. So here's something I high clipped. I'm always experimenting. Let's look at this paddock down here. High clipping is mowing tall, right? So I cut it tall and I'm experimenting with that. I mow most of the time. I scalp. I mow as close as I can. But the reason I did this is because this is absolutely just a unbelievable load of stockpile grass that, and just in case I'm bad at math and didn't do my forage survey right, it would be pretty foolish to go ahead and mow off, many tons of palatable forage, nutritional forage. Most of this, what you're looking behind me, is Kentucky 31 fescue. There are a few warm seasons in there, but that's what we topped off. We did hit the tips of the Kentucky 31. Now, if you don't know what fescue is, Kentucky 31 fescue, it is a wonderful forage that is really high in protein, and it's very, very durable, especially through the winter. It holds its protein and it makes great stockpile. But it's not so good in the summer because it has an associated endophyte that it's a fungus that lives in the plant, and it creates a very toxic substance, right? And as the cattle eat it, it poisons them. You got to really manage right. You can kill cattle with endophyte infested fescue. You can have their tails fall off. You can have their ears fall off. Their feet can fall. I mean, bad stuff. So you got to know how to manage it. But these are all things, that Jim can teach you. And, I can run my neck and help people along as much as I can, but I don't want to mislead anybody. I want them to get the right information. So he is going to be teaching the course here on our ranch. Again, November 7th and 8th. Let's look at these cattle. Again, let's see. How is your total grazing different than mob grazing and Greg Judy has taught? Yes. No, it is not. It is very, very different. So that camp of guys that teach that style of grazing, it's what they do and it's what they like. But it's very, let's say it's low in productivity. The carrying capacity on most guys that are grazing that way is very low if you look at it in comparison to the Total Grazing Program. So the biggest difference is that is a selective grazing system that all those guys practice, and this is a non-selective grazing system. Okay, and that doesn't mean that that's how you always graze and only ever graze like that. We don't only ever graze non-selectively. It's a tool that we use, right? But we try to graze non-selectively as much as possible. So the more non-selective you can be in your grazing, the more forage the animals are going to consume, and the more forage they're going to consume, the more rest your land's going to have, so on and so forth, and you're going to grow more grass. You're going to return back to your original paddocks much later. You're not going to be racing around your ranch, and that's the biggest difference. Those guys really focus on keeping their grasses vegetative, basically across the farm, all of them. So they race around the farm really fast, moving their cattle, very, very big paddocks with very low stock densities. Now let me talk about that. Stock density. High stock densities in most of those situations, guys would consider an extremely high stock density when they're grazing like that, maybe 100,000 pounds an acre. We don't consider high stock density. I sure don't until we hit a minimum of 400,000 pounds per acre. And our goal is, you can only do this, or we can only achieve this, 1,000,000 pounds an acre when we have the right forage. The forage has got to be primo for them to eat all of it. Because remember, if the top third of the plant's the most nutritious, then the center is obviously middle of the road, and the bottom is the least nutritious. So if you're eating all of it, you'll be diluting a lot of that highly nutritious part of the plant, right, with the very low nutrition part of the plant. And a cow or a horse or anything for that matter can only eat so much. So it's very important that you get enough balanced ration in their gut, right? Because it doesn't matter if they're full, they can still starve to death. If you don't understand animal nutrition, if they don't have enough protein, they can't ruminate properly. So if they can't ruminate, they can't extract nutrients from it. They can literally starve with a full belly, right? So that's really the biggest difference. Selective grazing versus non-selective grazing, high stock densities versus low stock densities. I would say the methodology. And then in practice, that's how we do it. But the productivity, the fruits of the labors, this is way more productive. You can run many times more cattle per acre than you can with selective grazing. It's just the way it works. So let's see. Okay, so amp grazing. Okay, sure. I guess you could say that this falls into the category of amp grazing, right? So it's adaptive multi-paddock. Well, we're highly adaptive and we have many paddocks, right? So yes, I guess you could call it amp grazing, but in the amp grazing system, it is selective grazing. So selective grazing, non-selective grazing, those are the two different types of grazing. And if you boil it down, literally there's only two different types of grazing: selective and non-selective, and then all these different subsets underneath them. And that's what really distinguishes the two. But see, a lot of guys won't graze non-selectively because they can't, because they don't have the genetics to, because their animals will fall apart and starve to death, right? Or they can't stand that management style because it's too labor intensive. Ideally, we move our cattle 4 times a day. 4 times a day. So roughly every 2.5 hours, we move the cattle. When I say move, we give them just a little more grass and a little more grass and a little more grass. And that's how we do it. So they progressively just keep moving forward. You know, there's roughly 4 rumination cycles in a healthy bovine. So we give them 4 meals a day, right? And they become more, they have a much higher harvest efficiency. So that's the idea. We're trying to get as much grass in their bellies as we can possibly get. And in this program, you'll also learn that you have to have probably a little smaller framed cows because smaller framed animals have a high relative feed intake. That's very important. So per pound of body weight, they're going to eat more grass. All right, we got a bunch of guys talking here. Let's see. We had 1,000 pounds to the acre on our small sum. 1,000, like 1,000, like 1 unit. Is that what I'm seeing? Okay. So, when you say, so stocking rate or stocking density. So stocking rate, right, would be the total amount of animals you have on your land. The ability for your land to carry or support said animals, that'll be your carrying capacity. And then your stocking density will be how tight you're packing them in. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page here. So like, now you can see this is all open back here, right? This is all open. I do not move the back fence along with them and keep them crammed in. They can walk out of here, but they choose to be where the fresh forage is, right? So they all come up in here, and this is what they do. So you get a lot of animal impact, you get better manure and urine distribution. And now what they're on currently, this is doo-doo. This isn't very good at all right here. Now, as we move that way, we're getting into a little bit better, more vegetative fescue, but I gotta watch them. I might start giving them fescue foot, you know, so get a hot foot. So we gotta watch them for that. But we're gonna move them up through here, just back in that little corner and come around. I mean, this is, guys, that's only, I don't know, an acre back up in here. And that'll take us, what it looks like at the moment, that'll probably take us about 7 days to get through and come back out to here. And once we hit this bottom here, we are going to absolutely be crawling through it because it's thick. There's a lot of yield there. So the best so far that we've harvested, okay, so you got to measure how much your animals are harvesting, and it's pretty easy calculation, but was 259 cow days per acre. That was the best field that we've had this year. It was right over there where I showed you earlier, all that grass. Well, so to put that in terms, or to give you some kind of relevance, last year, some of the best fields we had were around 50 cow days an acre, okay? So in a matter of a year, we've increased it like 5 times. So 259 cow days. Well, if I get another 100 cow days out of those fields that we just went through, that's a 1-to-1 carrying capacity because that'll give us at least 365 or roughly 365 cow days an acre. And if you got 365 cow days an acre, that is a 1-to-1 carrying capacity. Selective grazers cannot do that. I'm not saying this because, oh, I'm better. I'm saying this because this system works better. But selective grazers don't want to admit it because it's so contrary to everything they've been taught. They've been taught to trample everything down, leave so much of the forage behind, to armor the soil and all that garbage. Well, that's cool and good and great and all when you have grass that is not well recovered because the roots are weak. Then you have to treat it with kid gloves just like that. But if your grass is really well recovered and it has huge energy stores and massive root systems, and you graze it off like they like to say, everybody that hates the Total Grazing Program says, you guys eat it to the dirt. Well, we try to eat it pretty close to the dirt as much as we can. And what happens is when you do that, everything that regrows is extremely leafy. So you have a very high leaf to stem ratio. So once again, it all becomes very palatable. So when it's all very palatable, it's very easy for them to consume the whole thing totally again. And so it becomes easier and easier. Right now, when you have this garbage in here that's like wood, you know, these stems that are really old, I mow behind the cattle. When they move out of this and we get them pushed up, I come in with my bush hog and on the front of a bobcat, so I have a lot of control and I get really close to the ground and I scalp it. I mean, I get as tight to the ground as I can. If I can get a 1/2 inch, I'll do a 1/2 inch, you know, over a hump or something. But for the most part, it ends up probably being about 2.5 inches as close as I can get. And it looks like a lawn, like I just mowed a lawn. And that's how I like my paddocks. And I'll tell you, the regrowth is unbelievable. It's beautiful, it's leafy, it's super nutritious, highly palatable, and most importantly, high yielding, because we get all that seedling germination. You know, the almighty sun that they're all so scared of touching their soil? Well, guess what? That sterilizes parasites, kills parasites, and it encourages new seedling germination. So you end up with massive amounts of density in your sward of grass. So that's kind of how it works, guys. I thought it was snake oil. I did. When I first started looking into it, it was snake oil to me. I was like, there's no way, because all the big heads say you got to trample all your grass down. You know, take half, leave half, take a third. Take a third. Harvest 33%, leave 66%. That's crazy. No wonder they're grazing around their farms so fast they come back to the beginning to non-recovered grasses that are, when they're not recovered, and you graze them again, you put them in energy deficit, and now they're weaker and they're gonna recover slower, and then you're gonna come back and graze them again when they're not recovered, and they're gonna become even weaker, and they're gonna recover even slower. And the guys that practice selective grazing almost always run out of grass and have to destock in droughts. Changed my mind. It's what they do. All the big heads, they have to destock when they hit a drought. Well, the cool thing about this program, this system, this style, is that you have so much standing grass ahead of you, at least half of your farm is rested. Half of your farm is just waist deep grass, because you're not grazing it in the spring, because you're moving across your land so slow with ultra high consumption that you're growing so much grass that you can't move fast enough to graze that half. So that half just gets to rest all year and grows this savings account of grass. So if you hit a drought, big deal. You just jump over there, start grazing your stockpile. And once you hit favorable growing conditions again, and the stuff that you grazed to the dirt, that you now just killed all those plants, that's not how it works. They go, and they come right back. Boom. They shoot right up, no problem. You know, all this talk that growth is all driven by the solar panel and the leaf of the plant. Yes, it is, if you have anemic root systems. It needs it because it doesn't have the energy to push it up. But if people don't believe that regrowth is driven by the root, then I challenge them to answer this simple question. In the spring, when you have a paddock that is completely grazed off, or every blade of grass is brown and dead, how does it regrow in the spring? It's energy stores. It comes from the roots in the crown, right? So, yes, old can. Hey guys, these are south poles, crosses, and yeah, south poles. I mean, 3/4 south pole. I got this south pole bull right here. He's supposedly a full blood. So yeah, you want to look at him? Let's show you. He's a pretty handsome fella, and you know, one of my favorite parts about him, he is docile. I mean, he's a petting bull. Now he doesn't like my selfie stick for some reason, so when I get too close to him, he gets a little. Sometimes he can get a little goofy. If the horse flies are attacking him, he won't let me near him because he knows I'm going to smack him. Yep. Hey, buddy. Yeah, we actually, some of our animals have names, unfortunately, but hey, it's just the way it is. We love them. You know, Bruno is his name. My son named him. He's an outstanding bull. He's a 3-year-old. He's very short. He's very heavy for his frame size. You know, he's kind of got it all going on. I wish he maybe had a little more gut to him, but he's really filling out. He's starting to really look pretty good. So the fisheye on the lens doesn't do any justice. You know, here's one of his beautiful bull calves. This is a Hereford Red Angus South Pole cross, and he's an outstanding fellow. He's a really good looking guy. And his mom is that white face right over there, and she absolutely stays in fantastic condition. She's fat as a tick all the time. You know, so that's something I can talk about. Let's dispel this idea that you know, South Pole cattle are the only cattle to have. South Pole cattle are great. They're great. I like them. But there's a lot of good cattle out there. And there's good cattle in every breed, right? There's good cows and good bulls in every single breed, every make, model, and color. Now, they disproportionately become probably less good for this style of grazing management the bigger they get, right? So you got to just really work on, remember, don't buy South Pole or be interested in South Pole if you live in some northern state. It's crazy. They're too slick-hided. You want something probably like Aberdeen Angus or Herefords, or, you know, whatever. European breeds, the African breeds, the African influence breeds, Tropicarn, Tropicarne. Those, they're great. They're slick hided. They handle the heat really well. Another Mashona cattle. Those are, from what I've seen, I've never owned them. I think I might get a Mashona bull, put some of those genetics in our herd. They're outstanding. They do fantastic. They have, good parasite resistance, heat resistance. They flesh really easy. I'm living and they call just to mess with me. So, yeah, let's see. Where are we at? We still eat our named animals. Yeah, I know. It's tough, right? I mean, it's just part of life, right? It is the cycle of life. We love our animals so much. We give them the best life we absolutely can give them while they're here, right up to that very, very last second. We actually do home kill. We kill right here on the land. I can't bring myself to put them in the death wagon and have them go someplace that they're going to be very, very stressed out the very last moments of their life. So no, we kill on site here. So they have just a mouthful and they're just as content as can be, and then the lights go out. So anyway, I just wanted to, we're just live in tonight, kind of short. I'm going to not talk too much. I'm already 30 minutes in, but again, this is about the Total Grazing Program on-site course. It's going to be hosted by us, but taught by Jim Elizondo with Real Wealth Ranching on November 7th and 8th this year, 2024, coming up soon. There's a link in the description of this video if anybody is interested in learning how to run more animals on your land and stop running out of grass. I mean, this is huge, guys. So the cost of, let's put it in perspective. So I think I spent like $5,400 on hay last year. That sucks, right? I mean, that's a drop in the bucket to a lot of people. A lot of folks are spending $500,000 in hay. But let's see, and the cost of this course would have been paid off in like the first, few weeks of feeding hay. It's crazy. It works. It's what I want to see every cattleman try it at least. Don't believe me. That's fine. Practice it, try it, experiment, and see what you come up with. Try stockpiling an area of your farm, even just a small one. If you don't believe me, it's fine. I'm a big experimenter. People that suggest stuff that sounds like the dumbest crap I've ever heard, I still try it because I don't take anything at face value. I don't. I'm just like, okay, fine. That's your opinion. I'm going to try it. Sure, fine. And then I prove it right or wrong. And that's kind of what I did with this. I started practicing this actually in the very beginning, unbeknownst to myself. I was practicing the Total Grazing Program because we, like the gurus say, we overgrazed some spots, and I was like, damn it, I can't come graze this again. So we're not gonna, and we're gonna skip it. And we skipped it and we didn't graze it the rest of that year. And those are the most improved paddocks and pastures that we have now, and it's unbelievable. I'm gonna show you right here. I'm gonna flip around. This won't do any justice, I know. It's probably pixelated in a bad stream. We're gonna fix that too, guys. I'm gonna start hauling a Starlink around with me out here in the pasture and Wi-Fi to it. So right there, we are in the United States. We're in southern Missouri right there. Okay, that hillside right there doesn't look like much of a hill, but I can promise you it goes up quite a bit. Was mostly dirt, rocks, brambles, weeds, just absolute garbage. And it is now, I mean, covered. And it's pretty darn thick, guys. It's gonna yield some big numbers. Last year. So that hillside, right there, that whole, and when I say the hillside, we have this trail that goes up right there, little road. So from there to there, and from the bottom here to the very top of that hill I'm just gonna eyeball it. It's a couple acres anyway. And we would graze that thing off in 2 days. That was it. There was nothing there for them. So now, though, just looking at it, eyeballing it, if we can get high utilization, I'm telling you right now, there's close to 20 to 25 days of forage right there in just 2 acres with, I think right now we're looking at about 24 animal units. So that's huge, guys. That's the stuff that can make a farmer some money. That's the stuff that can at least have him not spending his children's inheritance on hay, right? That's what this program is about. And it's gonna blow your mind. If you I challenge you, if you got cattle and you got land or horses or whatever, just try it. If you don't believe me, try just a little bit. Just if you got 10 acres, do a quarter acre and stockpile it and see what happens. You're gonna see the magic the next year. In the spring, you are going to be blown away by how much freaking grass you have and how vibrant it is and how fast it recovers. Like, that's the most impressive part about this is yes, you grow more grass, but it's how fast it recovers when you graze off really well-rested grasses. I'm getting attacked by bugs. I just smacked my own hat. So let's see here. You got something else here. Oh, pecan. Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Fertilizer. So, you know, there's fertilizer, the best fertilizer in the world, and it's not the NP and K that's falling out of their butts over there. It's the microbes. It's the life that's coming out in that manure, and it's inoculating your soil. That is this symbiotic relationship between ruminants, not just herbivores, but ruminants and the land. The land needs the ruminant just like the ruminant needs the land. I mean, literally, grass needs the cow just as much as the cow needs the grass. And that's how it works. It's a system. So when you break that system, you take the animal off the land. The fastest way for your land to degenerate is take animals off of it. You know, I see it all the time. Oh, this is cool. Here, I got to show you guys. Here we are in Missouri, in the Ozarks. And we got some honkers coming over. So they're gonna maybe go land in our pond up there on the hill. Pretty cool. So yeah, you know, it's hard for people to understand the biology that's going on in the soil, between the soil and the animal. That is so important. Once they can grasp that, then it makes sense. But see, they've been sold some snake oil, what has it been, 80 years, pushing 100 years, synthetic fertilizers. And it was a really cool thing, and farmers thought it was the greatest thing to start with. And it was in the very beginning. But see, nobody knew that it was gonna kill your soil. Nobody knew it was basically gonna sterilize your land. So you have almost no microbial activity in soils that get fertilizers on them all the time. Now, am I sitting here saying that a person should never use fertilizer? No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is if you want to grow lots of grass and you want to intensively graze it with cattle or horses or whatever, you gotta have grass in the first place to graze, right? So if all you have is nothing, you have just unpalatable weeds, no nutrition, and dirt, you gotta do whatever it takes to start to grow grass. That's facts. Now, something we did here that made a huge difference, and I mean night and day difference, and that was before the Total Grazing Program, but just what's happened to our land and the biology of what's changed in it is we added, here's some more snake oil for you, because so many people think it is. Liquid calcium. Agritech International, check them out. They sell this liquid chelated lime that has humates in it. It looks like molasses water. And you can buy it by 2.5 gallons, 55 gallons, or 275 gallon ICB tote. And I will tell you what, that has made so much difference. We put that down, we put down humic acid, they send us some other goodies, and man, it got some stuff growing. And so now we have tonnage, now we have grass. Look at this. Hey, Kona. Here, I'm gonna flip my phone around. I'm gonna show you my dog running through this. Come here. Come here. Come here. Guys, like I said, we just came out of drought, right? So, and this is all lodging. It's falling over. This is mostly Kentucky 31. You know, let's look at some of these blades if I can do this. I'm gonna flip this around. Oh, the universities are absolutely in on it because remember, all their funding comes from big ag. It all comes from big ag, guys. So, all right, so, ooh, there was a pokey in there. I think I grabbed a horse nettle. And this isn't the best stuff on the farm at all. We got stuff that's way more awesome than that. I'm gonna turn this like this, see if I can show. Now I'm 6'5", okay? And I'm 6'5", and that's going up to the bottom of my pocket. And that's, you know, fescue. There's many a folk out there that will tell you that fescue doesn't get a blade on it longer than, you know, 12, maybe 18 inches if it's really, really happy. Well, that there, oh geez, that's pretty close to 36 inches. So, well, let's say 32, be careful. But up here on the top of the hill, I have some video evidence of that. I pulled some up. It measured 38 inches tall or long. Fescue, guys. So it works. Chelated lime, I absolutely highly recommend it. If you don't understand the importance of calcium in your soil, you need to. If you don't understand how it's basically the carrier for everything else, and without it, you're screwed. Nothing's gonna work. You're not gonna have anything available. So make sure your base saturation levels are correct. Take soil samples. The Agritech International is, those guys really hooked us up. I'll tell you what, we are growing so much grass. So again, look, check your base saturation levels. The calcium is kind of, it's the miracle liquid for us here. And it's not poisoning your soil. It's what's really important about the liquid calcium, or calcium in general in your soil, is that it helps with compaction, right? So if you have compaction in your soil, you're not going to grow much. Why? Because you're going to become more, and it's a scale. You're not aerobic or anaerobic, but there's going to be less gasish, I can't even talk, gasish exchange. There we go. You'll have less exchange in your soils, right? That's what compaction does. It's not that roots can't grow through hard dirt, right? You see roots growing through concrete and asphalt, lifting houses and busting sidewalks. That's not the problem. It gets into a place where it can't exchange gases, and then it becomes too anaerobic for the roots to continue to penetrate. So you need to work on your soil compaction. Super important. Do whatever you got to do to make your soil not be compacted. Once you lessen the compaction in your soil, you're going to see unbelievable changes in your land. And I guarantee you that calcium had a lot to do with it, because for the most part now I can go anywhere around here and I can just stab a step-in post in the ground. Now, that's if I don't hit rocks, which about 90% of what I'm standing on is rocks. It's unbelievable how many rocks we have. So well, let me show you. If you guys want to see, this is not arable soil here. This is not, you can't row crop this. We're in the Ozarks. This is just solid rocks, okay? It is rocks and clay. And look at the grass we're growing. So I'm gonna flip you around. I'm gonna show you our road, okay? So down here, you can see it's river gravel, right? It's the smaller stuff because we have a big spring or creek that runs over here. So this is a drainage. So that's why it's kind of flat down here. Now you can see this hillside. Now check this out. Again, we did not import any of this. So you can see some silt and some dirt, some rocks. And as soon as I start going here, what do you see? That is just gravel, guys. And it just gets worse and worse, especially as we go up the hills here. So, and look at this. This is what all this grass you're seeing here is growing on. Look at this stuff. And this isn't like little stuff, right? I mean, there's boulders. It's just solid stones. And we're growing this, right? Come on, Kona, let's go show them. Come on, girl. You know, that's a lot of grass, guys, growing in rocks. So I highly recommend, highly recommend, check your base saturation levels. Learn the Total Grazing Program. Stop listening to the people that tell you that you have to leave all the grass behind. Leave all the grass, trample it all down. Don't take my word for it. Practice it. Just experiment with a little bit, right? So again, let's say you have 10 acres. You got 10 acres of grass. You got yourself a few animals. And on 10 acres, most folks are going to probably be able to run maybe a couple. They're going to have somewhere between 2 and 4 units on it. And they're going to feed hay in the winter, okay? So take that and just take like a quarter acre, half of an acre, and stockpile it. Don't graze it this year. Ideally, you would graze it first as hard as you can, as tight to the ground as you can, at as high stocking densities as you can. Get as much manure on there, get a lot of impact. And then once you take the animals off, mow it. And I mean scalp it. Get it as low as you can possibly get it. Why is it so important to mow grass or have them consume and eat all of the grass? Anybody know? I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it. I hope somebody knows. Does anybody know the significance of the stem of a grass plant? Well, I'll just tell you. Stems respire, meaning they take energy and water from the plant. So they're constantly consuming energy and moisture from your, say, depleted soil. You know, you're in a drought, it's not well recovered, you don't have much moisture, and now you got all these stems up there continually wicking water, and they don't photosynthesize. So all they are, he probably saw me living and now he's trying to harass me. So get your stems off your plants. Stop leaving them behind, guys. That was probably one of the best, simplest things that you can do and do now. Just try it. Graze as low as you can without your animal performance suffering. That's the most important, always. Animals take priority. Make sure they're in good condition. Graze it as low as you dare, and then mow that thing, and mow it as close to the ground as you can. Watch its recovery, watch what happens, and then let it stockpile for a full year. Don't touch that quarter acre or half acre or whatever. And see what you got next year, okay? You're gonna have a big old giant mat. Well, I say next year, you're gonna graze that off as your winter stockpile, right? So you're gonna have some standing hay and you're gonna graze that off and you're gonna take as much of it as you can again in the winter. And come spring, you're gonna see some magic. You're gonna see that grass come back lusher, thicker, and way greener and higher energy and more palatability and higher leaf to stem ratio. I mean, it's amazing. The stuff works, guys. It works so good. It's actually, at this point, don't get me wrong, I mess up all the time, but really it's so stupid simple. Here it is. I'm gonna boil it down. Take lots of animals, put them in a really tight spot, make them eat as much of the grass as you possibly can. Don't let them have access to any grass longer than 72 hours because they don't want them to eat the regrowth. Move them out and then mow behind them if they didn't do a good enough job, and don't graze it again until it's fully recovered. There you go. I just summed it up for you. That's how easy it is. It really is. Now, there's a whole lot of stuff that you need to know so your animals don't fall apart when you're trying to do that. So it's a bunch of little tips, little tricks. You need to understand your animal's nutrition really, really well, okay? So, but yeah, guys, try it. Just experiment. I experiment all the time. I've tried them all. I've tried it all. Take half, leave half, thirds, strip. I mean, name it. I tried all sorts of different stuff and none of it worked because it was all selective grazing. And selective grazing is absolutely the Achilles heel to land management and productivity because you're going to be understocked and overgrazed. And that's just how it works with selective grazing. So non-selective grazing, you're going to be highly stocked, right? And you won't be overgrazed. It's amazing how it works. It seems all counterproductive and it doesn't make sense really when you first hear it at all. But as soon as you start seeing it, you're like, oh my gosh. So I just hope more guys, more people will start adopting it because they're gonna make a whole hell of a lot more money because your inputs are almost zero. I mean, right now, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and I'm just gonna throw out a number, a ballpark number of my annual inputs per unit are gonna probably this year be somewhere around $60 an animal. Think about that. I mean, maybe I'm gonna be off $10, $20 high or low. But basically all I'm looking at for the most part is mineral and the tiniest bit of protein supplement. Whoa, that's really loud. Tiniest bit of protein supplement that I may or may not have to feed. That's all it is, guys. So what we feed for protein is soybean meal. And we only do that when we get ourselves in a pickle where we're grazing something that doesn't have enough protein in it. If it doesn't have enough protein in it, their performance is going to suffer. And you can't do that, especially with a lactating cow that you're hoping is going to take and have enough condition to breed back, right? So really, really important. Remember, it's easy to get behind when you're running a cow-calf operation. So say right here, see she's got, here, I'm going to show you. She's got this cute little calf taken in nursing. Now remember, a lactating cow, this is the highest nutritional requirement of a bovine that you'll see at any stage of any cow's life. Right now, when she's nursing and she's got a gargantuan, big, beautiful heifer. Let's go. I'm gonna step in and try not to fry myself. Let's look at this heifer. She's gorgeous. She's covered in crap, but she's a beautiful calf. She's got good size. She's doing really well, and her mom is doing great, right? Now, well, thank you. Yeah, she's a good-looking girl. So what ends up happening is if your cow right now is skinny and you tried to breed her back, she might be open. She might have not bred because you got to have enough body fat in your cow to create estrogen so they can cycle, right? Basically have a period. So if they don't have enough body fat, that's not going to happen. It's no different than women. Women that lose too much body fat, they stop cycling, right? So the cow is no different. They got to have enough body condition. So what happens is now you got this calf sucking on them. They end up getting too skinny now. And say you don't don't wean in time. And she just never puts on quite enough condition. And she just doesn't quite get fat enough by the time she calves. And it's super important to understand this. Calving, when your animals calve, the body condition they have at the time of calving pretty much dictates if they're gonna breed back inside of 60 days. That's it. Doesn't matter. Once she drops that calf on the ground, you can do whatever you want. You can put all the inputs and just feed and feed and feed and do, oh, she doesn't look good enough. I want her to breed back. It's too late. Likely she's going to go open, or you're going to end up with a very extended calving season next year because you're going to have to leave your bull in a really long time to pick up the stragglers that aren't breeding back inside your, ideally, around a 45, 47-day window. So you got to keep good condition on them all the time, because if you don't have good condition on them now, then they're not going to have good condition in the winter, and then they're not going to have good condition in the spring when they're calving, and then they're not going to be able to breed back, and then you fall behind, and pretty soon it spirals out of control, and then you end up being a fall calver. Don't be a fall calver. Don't have your calves during the time of the year that the animal has the highest nutritional requirement, and that you're going to go into the time of the year with the lowest nutritional forage. It doesn't make sense, guys. That's why they feed so much. They have to supplement. They have to pour a lot of feed to them, right? Now, like I said, we will give them some protein supplement if we have to. But for the most part, I bought 14 bags of soy meal, and 14 bags, right? That's it, 14 bags. And I have fed, I believe, 8 of them. That's it. It's just a little tool, and it's amazing how a little bit goes a long way. I'll just give them 2 pounds per animal every other day, roughly. And you'll just watch. So when their manure starts getting too thick, they don't have enough protein, they have too high a fiber to protein ratio, their manure gets tall. It'll start looking like cinnamon rolls. And if you start seeing that, they're losing animal condition and performance. Like they're dropping body weight like crazy. They can be losing a couple pounds a day, guys, instead of gaining a couple pounds a day. So you don't want that. You want a pretty nice sloppy turd. That way you know that it's being digested well, the rumen is running the way it should. And so that's all we do. We just give them a tiny bit if we have to. And the only reason we did that is because we were grazing some over-mature warm season grasses. The cool seasons hadn't really turned back on, and we were doing a regraze, and it was almost all beaked panic grass, panicum. And it had already kind of gone to seed, and it's just too low of nutrition. So a lactating cow needs a minimum of 12% protein. If it's less than 12% protein, she's going to lose condition. So it literally, if it's 11%, she's going to lose condition. So you got to be at 12 or above. And that's why we use it as just a tool. Give them a little whoop, just a little treat, a little bit now and then. And when we do that, also people like to make the argument, oh, if you're feeding protein, you're going to give all your profits to the protein supplement companies. Like, okay, well, I ran the math on it. I was giving them 1 bag of protein every other day, which is 50 pounds. So 25 units a bag, right? Pretty easy. $12.50 for the bag. But it was allowing my cattle to consume an additional 700 to 800 pounds of dry matter forage. What I mean by that is I was leaving them in longer, making them eat the older rank or garbage that if I would have without protein, they would have lost condition, right? They kind of start turning their nose up at it and they just stop eating. They become picky when they don't have a balanced rumen. So I gave them the protein. Guess what? They started eating that junk. So I basically got a round bale of hay, right? A round bale of hay for half of the price of that bag of protein, which was, $6.50, $7, $6.50. Crazy. Like, return on investment, that makes sense to me. Get us $50 to $70 bale of hay worth of forage for, $6, $7. It just pencils. So again, it's just a tool. It's nothing that we like, oh, well, it's protein feeding season. We better get a few pallets of it. No. It's just I screwed up. I didn't graze right. I didn't get back in time. I let the grass get away from me. You hit a drought, right? Stresses your grass, boom, goes to seed. As soon as it goes to seed, the protein drops out of it. Now you got a protein deficit. So that's why it's really sweet to always have a bunch of stockpile cool season grasses. Now, the thing though you can run into that is that you can give them fescue foot. If you have some old rank stockpile, middle of summer, high humidity, fescue sitting there, it can be pretty spicy for them. So, all right, guys, let me see who's on here. Grow bugs and feed them that. No, we're not feeding the animals, other animals. Got hay free. Yeah. Okay, so something about the protein tubs. Don't forget about this. Hey, Pierce South Pastures, what's up, buddy? Don't forget, though, something about tubs. And again, I'm no scientist, so don't take it from me from that perspective. But I've seen it, and I know the guys that teach it and preach it, Jim especially. If you are feeding really highly lignified old rank forage, okay, those protein tubs with urea don't do squat. So make sure that it's not too lignified, not too high of fiber. The urea works for guys, but when it starts becoming, like I said, too lignified, it kind of stops working. So a few years ago, I gave 1 tub as an experiment. I just wanted to see. And it was some of the oldest, nastiest, warm season grasses they've been sitting around. And I noticed 0 change in their intake. So in their intake, in their body condition, 0. And it was a 200-pound tub, and I didn't notice any change. So with soy meal protein, I can see it within hours. It's crazy. They get a better gut fill. They retain more water. They're fuller, they're thicker. Their skin is a little, almost like they have an edema. They just look better, faster. So consider it. Looking at the soy meal. Cottonseed, that's another one some people use. Now, ideally, I wish there was something, I wish I could buy organic and it wasn't all sprayed and, who knows what's on that stuff, guys. So the idea is, again, it is literally just a management tool. Don't get in the habit of always feeding that crap. So I haven't said in a while, we got the on-site grazing course that's going to be taught by Jim Elizondo here at Tick Creek Ranch on our land, November 7th and 8th. That is why I'm doing this live tonight. I'm trying to spread the word, guys. It's awesome. I'm super pumped. In the description of this video, of this live, you can find the link. You can sign up. 2 days. We're going to do a lot of classroom, and then we're going to also be out here on the land. And you guys are going to get to see Jim walk around and tell everybody what I'm doing wrong. So I'm really looking forward to it. I love, constructive and criticism. I love it because it just makes us better at what we do, right? And that's all I want to do. I want to be the best I can possibly be at what I'm doing here with my animals and my land. I don't give a damn about pride, whatever. There's a lot of people out there doing this way better than we are. But you know what? I want to do it as best I can. So, yeah, we're going to have them here. It's going to be awesome. Again, 2 days, lunch is included. We'll have morning coffee available for everybody that shows up. And it should give you a really great eye-opening experience of actually what this program is about, because just watching some dude talk about it on YouTube or seeing pictures, it never does it any justice. But if you're into land management and you run animals, if you have never stepped foot on land that can really grow grass, and now what I'm saying this humbly, because there's a lot of people out there with way better grass than this, but mind you, this has happened in one season, right? We put some amendments on it. Agritech International, I swear by that stuff. Their liquid calcium is amazing. It did huge things for us. And proper land management with the right grazing system, you'll grow scads and scads of grass. You're gonna grow so much grass, you're not gonna know what to do with it. It is amazing. I never thought I'd be in that position. I never considered it. I didn't know that was a thing, like, oh, hey, so we're gonna graze like this, for several years, and it didn't really do much for us. It got a little better. And then, oh, we're gonna change to just this other grazing management. And now I'm like, oh my God, I have so much grass, I don't know what to do with it. So I'm gonna show you something, okay? Check this out. You probably haven't seen this. I bet you haven't seen too many people with a side delivery hay rake behind a four-wheeler. And I'm not just towing it around, like taking it somewhere. We grow so much grass. Here we go, check that out. Awesome farm tractor right there. We grow so much grass, and we grew so much grass on the top of that hill. Guess what I went up and did to it? I mowed all of it as close to the ground as I possibly could. I took it right to the ground and mulched it, and there was so much biomass. I went over it many times, and I'm doing this with a 74 horsepower skid steer with the front heavy duty bush hog. And I had to mow it several times to get it all ground up, right? Well, still obviously left big old thatch down windrows of junk laying on the ground, and that'll suppress your growth. That's right back to that whole selective grazing thing where everybody tramples their grass down because I'm feeding the soil. Yeah, you're suppressing all your regrowth. You're suppressing the plants that are trying to come up. You're suppressing your warm season grasses. You're suppressing all your new successional plants that are trying to come in, and seedling germination. So, you're just screwing yourself. So what did I do? Yeah, I got the hay rake up there, and I went up and I'm raking with a four-wheeler. Hey, you know what? Use what you got. So I'm raking that stuff up, because it gets matted down in the tracks where the tracks run, leaves a windrow, smashes it down, and it really inhibits regrowth. And I've seen that for years. So no more of that. Don't ever leave a windrow of smashed down grass on your land. Dude, it takes and inhibits regrowth like you can't believe. So then you go ahead and figure it's a 7 foot wide bush hog, and 18 inches of every pass is smashed down and left a windrow. So 18 inches of every 7 feet is suppressed in its regrowth. Well, that's a pretty damn high percentage, folks. I mean, we're talking like what? Almost a third of your land. Let's just say a quarter. So that 36, quarter. So 25% of my land isn't going to grow back very good because I left a windrow of grass, right? So that's what I did. I went and raked it, got it in one giant windrow, raked it like off down near the tree line where there's actually very, very little organic matter. And it just looks terrible, it's kind of rocks and junk. I left that giant windrow there. Now I'm going to take the Bobcat again with that mower, and I'm going to just mulch it and just leave a big old mat of that stuff. And that's going to act as the new seed bed. It'll suppress growth for a while, but once it kind of decomposes and lays down in there, it's going to be beautiful seed bed for germination in those areas. It works awesome. Let's see. How do you register? Do right there, go in the description of this video, Mark, and it's in the description of this live. It probably won't be able to do it until we get off here. We've also got to post on our Instagram, TikTok. It's going to be on our YouTube, obviously, and our Facebook. So we've got it. We're finally getting it all out there. So you can go to the link that'll be in the description of this and register if you want to come to it. Dude, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. Um, yeah, anything else? It's getting dark, guys. Like the moon's right there. I can't believe my phone is still picking up this light, but I said I was going to have a short one, but boy, I get out here and just get all talking about cow poop and I get all worked up. So, yeah, anybody got any more questions? But yeah, we're just trying to spread the word, you know, that this is the way forward with land management. And Mark knows right there, Pure South Pastures, that dude is a total grazer too, right here in the comments. He's a total grazer. He knows what it's about. The stuff works, and it works incredibly well. You know, he's working on some crazy stuff down there. He's got a YouTube channel, and he's got some goat weed that's just like waist high, terrible stuff, but he's working through it. He's mowing behind, and his land's going to regenerate rapidly. You know, it happens, guys. It really, really does. So, that's about it. I mean, I can't believe it. I'm almost literally out of words. For me, that is crazy. All right, let's see. I'm sure I missed some folks here. There was some really dumb people in the beginning. Sorry, they're saying the rudest, dumbest stuff. Anyway, let's make sure we've got everybody's answered. Yeah, absolutely. So, Old Pecan, if you're still on here, multi-species, absolutely. You know, we run horses and our cattle together. As we continue stocking up, we'll always keep horses and cattle together. We have currently 7 horses here and 24 cattle. 24 cattle and 7 horses, not very big. We need literally right now probably between 50 and 60 cattle, 60 units to stay up with our grass. It's that crazy. It works, guys. It absolutely, it's unbelievable. It grows so much grass that like I said, I didn't think I'd be in this position where I was like, oh, hey, cool. Oh, now I have another problem. Before I didn't have enough grass, you know, so I had to come up with money for hay. Now I have so much grass, I need to come up with more money for cattle. Oh man, it's crazy. But you know, that's a good problem to have. You know, worst case scenario, even if I had to, I could just I could hay some of these fields and then just, you know, I don't know, bring stalkers in and feed it back on there. I have no idea, but it's so much grass. I got to do something with it. And I guess I can just always keep mulching it, mowing it down like I did before, you know. Oh, I bet if I had a neighbor looking over the fence, they probably would have thrown up. They would have been sick seeing all that grass that I just cut down. I mean, I don't know. It's up there is probably 20 acres, and I bet it wasn't the highest yielding. Some of it was pretty good. I bet you there was 4,000 pound average, maybe dry matter per acre up there that I just mowed, just turned into nothing. So that would have been a lot of hay for somebody, but oh well, we don't need it. And I'm not going to take and sell hay off my land, right? That's the best way to take and deplete and sell your fertility, basically, is all you're doing, right? You need to be nutrient cycling, not haying and selling that stuff off. Now, periodically, can you do that? Absolutely. With this program, I truly believe that you can rotate pasture, hay ground, pasture, hay ground, right? And rotate that out. Now, can you do it every other year? Probably not. I don't think you'd want to, but maybe every third year you could hay off some stuff if you're in the situation where we're at, you know, where we have way too much grass. So it's a great thing. It's getting really, really dark. Again, Total Grazing on-site course taught by Jim Elizondo from Real Wealth Ranching, going to be here on our land November 7th and 8th, teaching his school, his course. He's going to teach you how to graze like us and or like him. And you're going to grow way more grass. I mean, the return on investment, it will pay for itself in literally weeks if you feed hay. So totally worth it. Check it out. Link is going to be in the description of this video, and we're going to have it posted all over our socials, like a lot. So it is limited seating though. So if you want to get on it soon. He has a max of 50 people that he will teach this class to, because he wants everybody to get, you know, individualized personal attention and get all their questions answered. So really important. So if you want to come to it, if you can't make it to this one and it sells out too fast, we're going to have another one in the spring. Don't know the dates yet. Probably somewhere early May, something like that. But we'll we'll give everybody more heads up in the future for that one than we did this one. We know we're kind of just dropping this one like, oh, hey, by the way, in less than 2 months, we're having a grazing school here. So we don't really care what you're doing. Drop whatever you're doing in your life and come to it. Hey, sorry. So we'll do better. Anyway, we're going to get out of here and come on, dogs. Look, come on. There we go. We're going to get out of here. I'm going to take my hay rake, my Honda tractor here, and my hay rake and my dogs, and we're going to go to bed. So we appreciate you guys hanging out with us and learning about this crazy grazing stuff. Oh, hey, I better turn my fence back on. That might be dumb. But, you know, thankfully I got this handy dandy little remote control, which makes it ultra sweet. Boom, there we go. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. We're gonna be talking about this stuff a lot. I'm gonna do a little show and tell over here about this bottom field and how that regrowth is going. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's some beautiful grass. I mean, it looks like a hay field that was heavily fertilized, and I can assure you it was not. It is all natural, just old cow poop. So thanks, guys. We appreciate you. We're going to see you on the next one.